Hey friends, welcome back. I've had this stamp set for a long time, patiently waiting for fall season and Halloween season, so we are going to play with it today. I absolutely adore this. The cats are so cute and I am excited to color. You know me, I love to color. It's so relaxing. So I am going to do another beat the clock session today where I set a timer to see if I can do this in less than an hour. I know you've been loving this and I love it too because I think it's super fascinating, especially because as a viewer, you see the edited down version of the card making process. And it's nice to know in real time what this is truly taking. Sometimes I have to pause to grab materials, or sometimes I sit here and pause and I'm just thinking, I'm like, what am I even going to do with this card? So I want to take you on a real life version of this card. Even though I still am going to edit it down, you can watch that clock tick down and really get an idea for how long it's truly taking me to create this. All right, let's go ahead and get started. I've been waiting so long to use this stamp set. Be sure to click on the title of the video so that you can see everything that I'm using to create this card. And I'm so excited to bring this card together. I have no idea what I'm going to do as normal. I just grab supplies and see where the process takes me. So I'm glad to have you joining me on this journey. All right, first and foremost, let's go ahead, set the timer to 1 hour. And now we're going to play around with this stamp set. Okay, so what I'm going to do is think through what I want to stamp out. But I was sitting here for a moment and I thought I would really like to bring in this fossilized amber distressed spray. I love this and I think it would be awesome because I was trying to think how to bring a magical element into this piece. So I'm going to start with my backdrop first and see if I can pull this off. And I'm going to play with this distressed spritz, I guess it's called. I haven't used this a ton, but every time I have used it, I've been really impressed. So before I stamp, should I stamp first so that these can dry? Let's do that. Let's stamp first so these can dry because I know basically what I want to do here. Oh gosh, look at the cute, oh, so cute. Okay, sorry, look at the stool is what I was trying to say. And then I do this to my husband all the time. I start a sentence and never finish it. Sometimes I look over at him and I'm like, what, why are you looking at me like that? And he's like, well, you started a sentence and didn't complete your thought. He was like just sitting there waiting for me to finish my thought. That's just me. I finish the thought in my head. And then I'm like, does that sound like a good idea? He's like, well, I only got half the sentence, so I'm not sure. Okay, gosh, there's so many fun things that we could do here. I'm loving the potion sets in the background as well, but let's start with what I know. I know I'm absolutely going to do the cauldron and the kitty cat. Gosh, sometimes I like hats, sometimes I don't. Let's stamp the hat out just in case. I can either do the bubbly or I can do the magical one. I think I'm gonna do the magical one. I could also stamp this on my backdrop too. Gosh, I don't know. Let's give me both options. Okay, I like to have options. I want the stool as well. I think that's adorable. And then I think I do want the other cat. That would be cute. And maybe I could put these books on their side. I know they're meant to go on the shelf, but maybe he could sit on the books. Or actually, I'm gonna have him sit on the floor because we'll have some height differentiation there and that'll be nice. I don't know if I'm gonna do the spoon. You totally could. I think that might be it. But you can always do more on yours if you'd like. Okay, but for me, I think that's plenty. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I can even have the little cat sit on the stool if I'd like. I do intend, as always, to use Copics to color these out. So I'm going to use an ink that will not smear with my Copic markers. So I like this Memento ink. Okay, go. Kind of a mess all over my door on that, but that's okay. And there's our first impression. Let's go ahead and stamp that one more time to get some good contrast. Then we'll let this dry. I'm really loving that. We'll let this dry so that once we're creating our background, we're not wasting time. We can let this dry in the meantime. I'm trying to work smart. trying to work so that doesn't tick down too fast. Okay, that looks wonderful. So again, setting this off to the side to dry. And then I'll take off my stamps in a little bit. In fact, no, I'm gonna do it right now because I'm gonna give you an accurate estimate for what this looks like. And I do like putting these back right away, if I can help it. Okay, here we go. So cute. I'm trying to think through my colors in my head. I think that's also why I wanna do the background first to give me an idea of what to do with the little cats. Probably, I don't know, maybe a dark gray cat. That would be pretty cute. And the stool. Okay, there we are. Put this away. Now, let's look at a separate panel for this Distressed Spritz Spray. And I'm going to give this a vicious shake here. There is a little ball inside to help break it up and get it all shaken nice and properly. And as you can see, it really makes a difference once you have it shaken. Okay, so there's a lot of fun things you can do here. I'm going to try out, just on a piece of scrap paper, the spray. Oh gosh, see how magical that is? I think that's really fun. It just adds that fun kind of whimsy look. It kind of looks like it's all bubbling up too. Okay, so let's try that. And the thing about this, my husband's gonna be like, what did you do? He went and cleaned my entire computer monitor. I was like, that's not gonna stay clean for long. Okay, let's go ahead and just play around here. 1 and 2. Okay, there's our first option. I'm gonna give myself a couple of options, okay? That way, because it's gonna be unique every time. It's impossible to do it the same each and every time. We also could paint this on. Let me try this one more time. Okay, that did too much of, I want it to be more focused on the center, but that's really pretty as well. Let's see if I can. Okay, these are cute, but I want to have a little bit more control over what I'm doing. So let me clean this up just a little bit. And I'm going to grab, because I'm going to kind of focus on the middle here, let me trim this down first. So I'm gonna trim my panel just a little bit here. So I'm gonna do 4, and this is just 80-pound cardstock, 4 by 5 1/4. All right, and then what I'm going to do is, I'm just going to, well, let's do this. Just a little bit on my mat here. And I may water it down a little bit too. We'll see how this turns out. I want to do kind of a focused, ooh, I like this better. A focused oval, if you will, in the center of my card. This is just going to kind of give some visual interest behind the scene. But I want to take a little bit more control of the shape. The spray was just kind of going everywhere, which is super pretty, but I just need a tad bit more control. I'm going to see if I can do a little bit less. I don't want to water that down as much and add a little bit more sparkle there. And the bottom is going to have my sentiment, so I'm just kind of leaving that. Okay, and then I'll add some little flicks of the spray. I'm going to try that again. I don't know. I'm not loving how I executed that. Okay. I think I do want the watered down version. Woo, hold on. And I didn't trim this down, so I'm going to trim this down next. I think I just need to kind of do a little less, not as much layering. Okay, I'm already liking that a little bit better. Not as much layering. The other one was kind of looking a little funky. I think I was doing a little too much all the way around. Try to bring this up just a little bit more, because again, I want to focus my sentiment on the bottom. Okay, I'm liking that much better. Now I will flick on some larger little spots to bring more fun to the card. Okay, I'm liking that. I think that's fun. Let me lift that up. It is very glittery, which I think adds to the kind of magical element of having a cauldron and a cute little cat doing spells. I think that's really fun. Okay, I'm gonna set that to the side and let that dry, and I'm gonna wipe up my mat. That's super fun. I need to bring out that spray more. I always forget about it, even though it's like right center in my craft room. I mean, I don't know how I keep forgetting about it. Okay, now we can start coloring our images. Okay, I'm really thinking through here, and I know I was gonna do gray cats, but I kind of wanna do brown cats because this is so warm that I think it'll be just more soft and fun and more my style if I do some brown cats. So that's what I'm gonna do, but you certainly can do like the traditional black cat. Okay, I think I have my color selections. If you click on the title of the video, you'll see all my marker choices down below. And again, I'm gonna go for a little bit more of a softer palette. That's just my style, but you can do whatever you wish. So I'll go ahead and get started, and you can enjoy watching the color process. All right. I love how that turned out, and I'm really happy with the brown kittens. I think that it's really cute, and I also think it will just work beautifully with my backdrop there. Okay, so now I need to grab those coordinating dies. It took me a while to figure out what I wanted to do with color and how I wanted to disperse it, but I got it. Stop, Bethany, you forgot your favorite part. I don't know how I forget this all the time. I think I might need to put my gel pen with my Copics, because I have them in another little area, and I don't want to forget this part. This is always my favorite, but for some reason, I always forget it. And it's not the end of the world if you do, because the coloring looks fine without it, but it just elevates it just enough to make it super fun. So I'm gonna go through really just on, sorry, I don't mean to rotate this a million times, but that gel pen does take a minute to dry and I don't want to smudge it. So I'm gonna avoid putting my hand over it there. Let's do kind of the same thing here. And okay, that's good. I'm gonna keep it simple. And I'm not gonna do my teal and my lilac because they're so light that you can barely appreciate it. Okay, letting that dry, I decided to go with the more potion instead of kind of like the magical. Well, no, hold on. This would be more like magical and this would be kind of like the bubbly potion. I don't even know. I don't know the terms at all, but I wanted to do that so I could bring in that mint color because I just love that addition to my Halloween cards. Okay, I'm gonna go through and find which ones I'm going to need. And again, this stamp and die set is so fun because there's so many elements. So if you wanted to bring in a bookcase and do that along the back, that would be super cute as well. Okay, I have all of my coordinating dies ready to go because my cutting plates are really small and narrow, which I have bigger machines, but I just adore my smaller machine. I'm just gonna trim these down so that they fit through my machine here. I'll do something like that. In fact, I can even fit this through with one of the other ones. I'm going to grab some tape. Oop, that was too much. And I'm just gonna secure my dies so they don't shift while I'm running them through my die cut machine. And I like to avoid getting the tape on the actual colored image. So I just go on the metal die and the outside, something like that, if I can help it. Because sometimes, and it kind of depends on your machine and the pressure, or if your machine sometimes does it and sometimes doesn't, because, you know, that's just the way it works with crafting, then sometimes it can tear up the, well, not tear, but kind of want to bring up the color when you remove the tape. Mine doesn't until I work really hard on something and then it's like, hey, I'm gonna be a stinker today and ruin your coloring. And because it takes me a while to color sometimes, I want to make sure I don't mess it up by doing something as silly as tape placement. Oh my gosh, I can't for the life of me figure this one out. Is this it? I'm trying to find the die for this. That's the only one that would fit. Okay, hold on, let me look this way. What does it want to do there? You know what I'm gonna do? Hold on. I'm gonna cut this out of a piece of paper and then figure out what the placement's supposed to be because I cannot, that's a first for me. That one just looks a little too complicated for some reason. Okay, I'm gonna re-suction that down. I think I need to clean the bottom of my machine because it is losing suction. Okay, here we go. My kitty and my stool. Place these right over here. And then I'll do these and then we'll figure out our little bubbly. That's gotta be the right die. Nothing else looks like it's gonna work. So let me see what I can do with just cutting out a piece of paper. My hat and cauldron and kitty cat. Okay, and then I'm going to take, actually, I don't even need to tape that into place because, oops, I don't care if it shifts or not. Just using it as a template to help me out. Let's do this. And then I can use this to kind of, oh, where'd that piece go? Here we go. To figure out what looks right. That doesn't look right. Just kind of keep rotating until I figure it out. Oh my gosh, I cannot figure this out. Move these. I'm gonna look through the rest of my dies as well. Make sure that is the only one. Oh no, it's not. It's this one. Bethany, okay. Okay, it's all right. So which one is that for? I don't even know. Let's not waste time figuring it out. Okay, it just, no wonder it wasn't working. All right, well now you know that trick. It'll at least tell you that you are completely on the wrong track, but hey, it served its purpose. And I'll grab that little piece of tape. There we go. Holy moly. I can't even blame crafting late at night because it's 10 a.m. I'm fully caffeinated. That's okay. All right, the clock is ticking down, making me nervous. It's getting a little close. Okay, I also went with my Copic and just kind of colored down because I wasn't quite sure how much of that we would see, but I did know that we were going to cover quite a bit with the cauldron. Oh my gosh, that's so cute. Okay, let's now bring in, I think we're done with all of this business. Bringing back in my backdrop, but also a paper trimmer. This is pretty centered as is, so in order just to trim it down a little bit, I'm gonna take 1/8 of an inch off of each side to give myself that margin that I'd like. So my final dimensions are going to be 4 by 5 1/4. That looks great. Loving that. That's so fun. Okay, now before anything else, I do want to bring in a sentiment once more. And I want to stamp it right on my card base. So let's bring that in. Plus, let's do a tad bit of tape because it's a little bit warped from the spray and the water. That should be fine, but it will flatten out once I get my foam tape on the back. So just giving myself an idea here for where I want some of this. Okay, I want this pretty centered. This cat here, it doesn't have to be perfect. I wonder if this cat should be on the stool. That'd be kind of fun because then this cat can have the hat. That looks good. I'm going to add my sentiment here, and that's just a very rough placement of all of that, but I really like You're So Special to me. I think that's cute. I like the whole play on the word special with the spell in there. I think that's really fun. Okay. And if we do something like this, I think that looks great. Okay, maybe over a tad bit more. And it's interacting with the background, which is nice. I think that looks good. I'm going to use the lines on my Misty to make sure that's straight, looks straight to me. Okay. Using the same Memento ink, I'm going to stamp this twice to get that nice contrast. There we go. There we go. Okay. This one wants to come. There we go. Shoot. Hopefully that doesn't. I don't think that's going to move. Okay, no, that looks good. I kind of panicked there because this little side was lifting and I was hoping it wasn't going to ghost my stamp. All right, once more with a baby wipe, clean that off. Put this back on my stamp sheet. I'm going to try to zoom. I have about 17 minutes left. And let's put this on a card base. I'm thinking this would be really cute on a lilac card base. Yeah, I think I will because it'll bring in some of that purple again and balance it all out. I am not a colored card base girl, but I have been embracing it this season and having fun with it. Okay, 11 by 4 1/4. It's going to fold at the top. So half of 11 is 5 1/2. Score there. And then press down my fold and open up my card. Then I'm going to take some foam tape and add some to the back. That'll help strengthen and straighten this out. It's actually doing pretty darn good. But we'll go ahead and put some on the back for a little boost of dimension. Just like this. Here we go. And I'll go ahead and do 4 strips so that it really helps strengthen that card panel. That will be wonderful. Now I'm going to use just a little bent weeding hook. You can use a traditional weeding hook as long as it has some type of hook on the end. This is supposed to be pointy, but it got bent and I've never been so happy because it now has turned into such a good tool for this. Grabbing those little liners. So helpful. Just quickens it up. All right. Whoa. Let's go ahead and center that. There we have that 1/8 inch margin. Oh, that's pretty. Okay, bring that up a little bit. Now what I'll do is I'm gonna have fun with all of my placement here. I'm going to use some foam squares, so probably both the large and small. But what I'm going to do first is I'm going to put a piece of tape on the back of my bubbly here, and I'm going to attach these 2 pieces. Let's see here. That way we've got those 2 pieces together. You could use liquid glue too. And you could bring it down a little bit more. I want as much of that mint showing as I can. So I'm going to do that. Then I'm going to add some foam squares right on the back. Maybe one over here. Okay. And I know this is going to be plopped right center in my card. Whoops. Maybe on my mat. I'll do that first. Okay. Now, you know what I could do, although this doesn't really look, no, this looks better on this little guy. Let's see. I want this to be at the same, oh, if I have it kind of, the little cat like that, it's kind of almost like it's dancing, which is fun. And I can overlap that a bit. And that's cute too. It's just so oversized and fun. It's like playing dress up. And then this little cutie can be on the stool, which I do really like that. Okay, 2 tinies for the stool. Being careful that I am keeping the ground level even so that we don't have any floating creatures, although this is a magical card. So, you know, if they do float a little, we're just keeping with the theme. I'm going to bring this probably there. Is that right? Yeah, I like that. Okay. And then, oh, this would be cute. I could have done that spoon with, I don't know. Sometimes when I add too much of those fun elements, I think it looks wonky. And I know other people do it and it looks great, but sometimes I don't know. It's too much for me. All right, I'm going to bring them right to the top of that stool. I want as much of that purple as I can preserve. That looks great. And now this little cat. We'll do the hat in a bit, but I love the idea. Again, we're going to keep those feet on the floor. I love the idea of this cat coming in a little bit. That way, once we put the hat on, we're having an equal margin from the hat to this side and the tail to this side. Okay, so let's go ahead and add. I'm going to try to do to the right side as much as I can with my foam squares, and I'll even trim down. Oop, I already have one trimmed down right here. Just cut them in half, one for the tail. The reason I'm staying on the right sides is so that I can layer as much as I'd like without there being a foam square there to interfere. There we go. All right, this was worth the wait. Gosh, when did I buy this stamp set? It was in one of my hauls. I've been looking at this forever, wanting to do it. But I know, I think it was like in the spring when I bought it. I want to have this cat angled a little bit. It just brings a little fun element. Okay, and then I'm wondering if that's going to be too much. It is going to be too much. So I'm going to put this on the side here, grab some scissors and maybe just do like 3/4 of it. No, that's a third, Bethany. That's a third. And go more towards the top. That way we can layer it on the cat. That looks great. I can probably bring some tweezers in to really help with some placement. There we go. That way I can really kind of see what I want. Kind of want to keep one of those ears peeking out just a little bit. Plus it just looks like it offers a little bit of movement. Maybe that. Okay, now I'm going to add some fun embellishments coming up out of that cauldron just a little bit. Let's put these away. Not only is it going to just add some fun, but it'll kind of elongate this area just to kind of even out my spacing from top to bottom, or sorry, bottom and top. So sometimes this peach is a really fun one to bring in. Yeah, let's do that. That's super fun. And it's going to add a little magical element to that. So why don't we do 1, 2, 3, and then we'll bring some down here just to kind of include that sentiment a bit. So let's do 1, 2, 3, and then 1, 2. Right. And with my little wand here, actually let's use some of these. I think I will use, well, do I want that big one? Yeah, I do like it because it's kind of offering a fun bubbly effect there. Usually I don't use those really huge sequins, but I think that's fun. And then I'll do the smaller 2 sizes for the bottom. So where are you? And oh, love that. That is so cute. All right, I have a little extra one. Put that away. All right, I have 8 minutes left. I cannot believe I finished that in time. Actually, I was surprised it took as long as it did, but I was starting to get a little panicked once it was really showing a countdown there. Okay, all of the supplies will be listed down below, but I think that turned out really cute. I love the backdrop. It adds to the whole just mood of the scene, which is really fun. It's subtle, but it adds some fun to the card and just helps set the scene. So hopefully you enjoyed this. Be sure to give this a thumbs up if you did. On Thursday, we're gonna do one more Halloween video and then we are going all in on Christmas. I have lots of Christmas stuff that just arrived and we're gonna go ahead and get started. So last of the Halloween cards coming up Thursday, and then next week we're doing Christmas. I'll see you next time.